And then it says, sorry, the chat is currently unavailable. No idea why, but probably really doesn't matter. Let's see here. So, hopefully the app data will work and is already tying through, and I will find out momentarily when I take this off. Boop. Yep. It be working. We'll be good to go. Alright. Got a flying Nimbus in the air. And we have planes in this Midland here. Here's some of the wooden ships already underway. Some are already moving on through. And this is me and my overly complicated binoculars watching it all. And then I, of course, will be up in the plane shortly. Alright. Well, they don't look super heavy like they years past, so they've also been struggling with membership. Probably why they also talked Miranda into being over there. Alright. Yep. Go ahead and start getting planes up. I think we're good to go. So far, they don't look nearly as choked as they have in years past. They still moving on through, Ari?
Yeah, apparently there doesn't seem to be any problems. Though I'm doubling back a little more than I usually do. Even at 30 throttle, the Sea Glide is still pretty fast.
To be fair, they're pretty slow.
I know.
Alright, yep. If you're not already up or out, go ahead and get them up and get ready on the strip and just go ahead and launch.
We have a big pleasure boat heading in the opposite direction.
Try and give them a shout out in an IM to the captain that they've got wooden boats inward, and ask them if they could pull aside for festival. They don't necessarily have to
this
stop,
one seems to be unmanned. Apparently the skipper got caught in a region crossing.
That's particularly big hazard.
Alright.
I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. It looks like it's going to be the SLCG's problem.
We should still report it. I'm gonna report in Lily's. I'm gonna report in Lily's jar when we do that. While you do that.
Tsunami. Let's go play. Glass Joe.
Would you say it's a Namaste, or like, what do you think it is?
It's similar to a Dominus, but it's made by another manufacturer. It's similar design, though.
So a large yacht?
Yeah. It's out of the way, but still. It's called a new EN Queen 4.
Whoa, that was interesting.
What happened?
What happened?
My ship just pitched deep down into the water. Having a
very loud situation.
that's like some shit that I was getting back very out of it. Yeah, hey, kitty hawk. Alright, landing gear's pulled up. Part of the body's flying in already. Not sitting right. Deal with it. Probably pull those sounds down a little bit. There we go.
Cassie reports crashing as of, yeah, basically nowish. Well, a minute ago.
Okay. Alright, I'm on the back end of the fleet, and things are moving pretty easy so far. Rough take.
So far, the channel seems to be fine. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary. I'll turn around at letter.
Alright.
Rachel reports sim name Papa Indigo Echo Vector Indigo is full.
Right. Alright. Definitely be advised, you rub up against the wall, pull off hard.
It's probably because of that large yacht that's over there. It's taking up the land impact.
Sim directly east of Aknafar. And we know Aknafar is our start part for Tuesdays.
Except for a sausage dog out in the water, there's nothing else to report. I'm tailing back.
Alright. Some kind of fishing boat, but they're well off to the side next to the island there. What is that? You see where they are heavy. I'm gonna rub it with the front side of my hull to see if I can cross in and then get ahead of them if I can. Yep, I'm in. Stiff steering, but I can work it.
I see a cap.
Yep. I'm probably elevated above my cockpit, unfortunately. You know what? There's a thing I can do about that. Just cross my mind. There we go. Just click pilot sitting in, and down I go. It is a steamy 83 degrees Fahrenheit today. Ooh, that's a stiff frame lock. Oh, ho, ho. I'm still managed in control. coastal islands here down below.
We have a traffic jam at Takamaka Isle.
It's to be expected. That's a narrow channel.
Yeah.
I know.
Other planes that aren't familiar with that, if you see a big cluster where there's islands on either side where they're sailing through, you could probably go around that to the left and then ahead of them to the north.
Yeah, any planes don't go through Takamaka, head into tails. So basically just keep going straight north.
Yeah. Approach on left if headed north.
Felix is having connection issues.
Yeah.
And Cassie is having voice connection issues.
That's okay. Just do what you got. These tall ships have haunting interference. A lot of people drawing on a network at the same time.
I'm seeing a few other random boats around. Some of the skippers we already seen in the LCC cruise. I'm warning them about the upcoming fleet.
Yeah. Got a purple speedboat coming back the other way, but
That's Nancy. I already warned them.
well, they're approaching far enough to the side.
Thank you, Rachel.
No other issues to report. It seems to be clear on at least on the left channel up until Horskill. Be advised, though, like I mentioned earlier, the Melton Sim right next door has a lot of sitting bots over there. If they decide to split the fleet, they'll have to deal with them.
Alrighty.
It's clear up to Lork. I'm circling back right now via the right channel.
Clear that. Alright. They're wondering if we're taking video. I let her know that I'm streaming right now, in fact. So who knows? Maybe someone will actually watch my stream for a change. Oh, hit a band line, hey? Drag it out and hit FX. You gotta drag it away from the band line, though.
They can't hear you.
No. That's what I should figure out. Alright, Mountain Sim. Bots in public area.
Do you have anyone that can speak Italian?
No, I'd probably offend them.
list, but I don't think she's present.
Or never mind, they probably do know. There's a pleasure boat on the right channel that's might. I think it'll. No, I don't think it'll be a problem. I'm overthinking things.
That's good to know.
It's a pleasure boat, but apparently the person sailing it's a Coast Guard commander.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it then. Let them take the rep for that shit.
It's just funny because you'd think they would be attending at a thing and Coast Guard stuff, but
Yeah, depends which Coast Guard group. They're
It's
like
SLC.
separate,
there's multiple.
yeah, they're like separate countries. There's like a bunch of them. Okay.
Yep, I have you. Careful on the line too. You're drifting close
Yeah.
to the
Let's see that.
one bad sim.
Alright.
I'm putting some distance ahead just in case.
Alright. Yeah, I'm going back up towards the boats now.
Which sim is should we be avoiding right now?
No sim to avoid. Just the advisement on Meltons that there is a bunch of bots over in the public island. I don't think it's going to be
Okay.
a problem, but just in case, I don't know what the sim capacity is.
They're all gonna go through Mountain. Because they're all going into Luna.
Let me get a count on this. Let me get a count on the sim then.
There's 9 in Mountain. It should be fine.
All right.
Well, that might be why I had a frame hitch earlier. Windows Defender decided now was a good time to run its scan and finished.
Oh, of course.
All in all, this is pretty good.
Why would she post that on Lily's yard, Cap?
Hmm?
The advertisement for your stream?
It's Lily's yard. It's fine. Besides, it's all right because chances are some might actually like up to the second watching like right here, right now, which is what I'm doing.
Okay.
Besides, I know Lily. I'm pretty familiar with what Lily would be okay with.
Fair.
I've been running like our side of things for I think 3 years now with them. I think this is our 4th.
So you've long known them for a very long time now.
Yeah, for a good long chunk. Last year we tried
Okay.
to make the plane races happen, but Sim Crossings had other ideas. We might try it this year again, just to be fun.
Last year was because PBR got released, though, wasn't it? And then that July of Hell.
Yeah, that made it worse.
Maybe we could try it this year because it's been a lot better since then. Or it's been a lot better
Yeah.
this
Better.
year.
Yeah, other than the usual sluggish and sims that have a chunk of tall ships, I'm running pretty clean. You know, for SL anyway. It's like 18 frames a second, but it's better than like 4. Breaking now it's down to 12, but I'm progressing on to new areas. Got the flag clipping, sure there's sails that are open.
I'm pretty much I pretty much switched positions. I'm tailing the fleet now, looking for the tail end.
Let's see. Looks like some of the groupings of the fleet are falling behind a little bit by a simulator. Pills up in Wyoming. Whoop. Pulling away. That simulator ahead of me is full. I am currently in coastal waterway from Wyoming, where Pill was, and west where they're headed is full.
Wyoming is full or Melton is full?
West of Wyoming. I can't get into
Melton.
there. Yeah. If that's Melton, then that's Melton. I'm not poking that from this one. So chances are to know what simulator before it is and in what direction is probably just as well.
There's only 20 people in it, so the bots are taking up half the fucking space then.
Yeah. There's Paula. toys. They're probably going to cost them up the bones.
Never mind.
Bye, Cassie. Bye, Cassie.
A little bit of air brakes on she's so low. Yeah, if it looks full or heavy, definitely gain some height before trying to cross and get ready to power up and to the side. Crossing back south into the other cluster of boats.
Paul's out here with us.
Yeah. Saw her in the blue and white. Didn't get her a paint job for that thing. For the future. What's going on there? I think Phil's plane may have stalled there due to connection. Not sure.
Okay, I have a work meeting in 10 minutes. I'm probably gonna duck out in 5.
Alrighty. Making avatar presence there too?
You know what? I can just hop out of voice here and hop into voice there.
Yeah. Otherwise we kind of float around and nimbus in a clear spot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like land nearby, and then I'll hop in.
Except for this one lone East Indian man in the back, I think that's the tail end of the fleet. I'll see if I can passively escort.
And the forward cluster does seem open enough to cross through. Smells like somebody's cooking something. And if you're on the voice, welcome back, Bill. I did see your plane just kind of hanging there. In fact, I could probably backtrack and mark it if it's still there. Let's see. Something to check my chat. For some reason, YouTube's chat decided to fail to hook up to my stream again. Which I've only seen happen like maybe 2 or 3 times in all of my using of OBS. It's been a thing lately. Put my drink down. Oh, there it is. Ooh, we have an oncoming wooden boat headed the opposite direction in purple. Yeah, there was like a giant flock of ponies last year that almost got into a racing lane. Looks like they've at least picked a side, so should be alright. Alright, if you can warn the forward boats, there's a Bermuda rig somewhere. Unless you're talking, that's what the ponies are, but I think you said it was already Corvette.
Uh-oh.
What's the uh-oh?
There's, that was a close shave. Apparently there was a pleasure boat that ran right in front of, one of the tall ships. In fact, there's quite a lot of pleasure boats out there right now sailing against the tall ships.
Shout down to them and let them know that they're about to be plowed by big ass boats. But yeah, like Yuri said, they got right away. I told them, oh yeah, I'm just letting you know. Plow away, record if you can. Alright. I'm going to charge on. And that's that cluster there. Let's take a look at what's up ahead, shall we? Oh, back. Oh, just a camera yank. Alright. I'm going to hammer north a little bit. Take a look. Oh, cluster I was at, it's about 3 sims behind of this further up lot here. I've lost a little bit of the ground. Oh, I see a pony boat. Yep, that's the ponies again. I'm not going into that hard sim. I don't trust it. Okay.
There's a huge cluster of them up ahead. I'm holding position until they can get past.
And I don't know if I got watchers or not. I wish my chat was working, but it's not. There's some boats there, rezzing on in. Do a little climb here. Fires back out. Definitely a hefty front cluster coming up on that little house all by itself. Little house on the aqua prairie. Oh, we got a helicopter just kind of hanging here. No seen pilot. Maybe it's a ghost. Oof. We'll go check. Check. Yeah, I'm still here. That was just a... Oh, now I got half seated. I shouldn't be on a collision course, though. See if I can get a indicator on map as to where my shit actually went. Negative read. Oh, it's moving now. Alright, well, let me try and teleport skip ahead of it, see if it works out. It may not. I don't think it's on a collision course, though. And I caught it. Positive read on control. So that's who would be watching, ladies and gentlemen. You teleport ahead of your airplane or boat, sometimes even car, if that's fast. You do it. Double click teleporting on the minimap ahead of your stuff, it'll make it snatch you. Because every sim transfer counts as a reset anyway. That's just how SL works. Let's sit, fix my sitting position a little bit. There we go. Glories of a pixelverse plane. It works. It fixes. It's pirate tested. Alright, got one boat off to the side with sails rolled up. We might be letting some get ahead. And of course we got more with sails rolled up here. Probably waiting for some of the fleet to catch up. Looks like they might be doing that now. And helicopters moving. This one is. Oh, this one is. Yeah, it's not a ghost, it's real. That's very much just stopped and stuck there. We do have one functional working helicopter, so be advised. And that helicopter's also getting a little daring. Air brakes are out. The boomers. Life times 2.
I'm starting to wonder if there's another thing going on in the sail system, because I'm seeing a lot of pleasure boats going the opposite direction.
Maybe. But I warned Yuri that they're out there, and the only thing that was said is that they have right of way, which they are correct, and that they'll plow, and by all means, I kind of want to see it almost. My job's to warn. And they've been warned. Okay. Speaking of which, oh, look at that. Pill, I think, has my stream up on there. So if you're tuning in, welcome to the show of us just flying around and keep an eye out. Probably this helicopter's doing similar. Remember, kids, if you gotta fly near a helicopter, fly under it and not too low to the ground. Never fly over a helicopter, because they will take your wing lift out from under you, and you'll both have a bad day. Alright, what we got going on here?
I'm gonna go ahead and try and land. I'm starting to get to. I'm not sure what I'm feeling. I'm losing myself.
Alright, well, maybe take a quick, like, 5 or 10 minute break and see how you feel. Just, like, park the plane down somewhere near a red zone.
Sure.
And even catch your restart that way. Catch a quick cool
You know, you know where the carrier is over at Final Point?
Not off the top of my brain, because we had to move that like 3 or 4 times this year. Because there was the first time, like, all out location. Then some neighbors seemed to have a fit thinking it was there permanently. We moved it again, and then I think there was another slight adjustment. But she's big, she'll show up. Just hang around Wheatley's yard, you'll see her.
Alright, I'll see what I can do then.
She has a nice big presence.
Because apparently there is a big traffic jam, and I'm not going to wait around to tail them.
Yeah. Yeah, just touch down, take a 10-minute break, see how you feel.
Alright.
Start clustering towards end, you can pop back up, wrestle it around, look good for the camera. if you feel up for it. We have a pretty good showing. Ooh, that geometry, on the other hand. Alright, I'm going to lurk ahead to the north of this cluster and see what's popping. Supposed script errors, but that's kind of normal for this kind of heavyweight and travel across SL these days. Even car manufacturers that say, oh, you get all kinds of clusters of other cars. I'm like, okay. You're George Stick too, and conditions are heavy enough. Welcome to SL. Pop a little Reaper fire for a moment. Script lag is heavy in this spot, though, it seems. I should be decided not to fire. Interesting. I think this was close to a crossing. Try it again. Oh, no, Reaper fires decided not to go. Interesting. Gonna run a quick snap fix. See if it does anything. Trying effects. Gonna cross another line. Fire attempt again. Well, I guess I'll have to be a little bit more behaved by flying for a bit because power climbs I'll have to do a standard throttle. Looks like Reaper fire's offline. Everything else is good though. Throttle's good.
I landed over at the EM Motors airstrip. There's apparently a traffic jam over in Lork as well. I'm Lork and Melt, so I'm not going to attempt to try and get to the airfield over there. I'll be back in about 10-15 minutes or so.
Alrighty. Yeah, tall ships look more or less moored across, let's see, mountains, if I'm reading that right. Glasses on. Mountains and the sim to the west of it. Next to, one of these big red blotch simulators. They kind of clustered around this little residential looking thing. Alright, tell you what, I'm actually going to clear out of this more heavily parked up sim, and I might actually temporarily set down somewhere myself for just a brief moment. I could put myself on a circling path, but that's alright. Alright. Coming in for basic water landing. Wide, clear, open. And nice little touchdown, and I'm just going to pull right off to the side here. And I'm just going to taxi. I'm going to brush over the simulator line to make sure it's friendly, so I can pull out if it's not. Crossing sim line. No warnings. Looks like I can even not take up impact on where their expected path will be. Whoops. A little bit of a jump there. There we go. We'll just nudge up against the dirt. Pop them down there too. And like I said, I would love to read your chats, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, it decided not to connect. But, wow. Apparently I can't shut my engines off either. Oh, wait. Maybe they're shutting down? No. Well, it just goes to show you, even when you have some kind of fractures that could happen with a Pixelverse plane, it can keep you flying. Reaper fire is offline. Ammunition might be jammed. I don't know. I'm not going to try it. Can't stop it right now. But that was pretty heavy conditions, and she's still flying. Still fly capable. Throttle is good, rolls good, rudder's good, climb is good, elevator up and down. She's good otherwise. That'll definitely get you out of from most bad situations. Because even without Reaper fire, especially a tsunami, tsunamis are pretty durable. So she's not doing listening commands right now. Even air brakes are working, which you can do by forward and backwards on there, which is up and down at the same time. So, yeah. The official Aspc logo there for official content. I have on one wing. Steam, because Valve is awesome. One of the few people that actually still give a damn about the industry, that won't let them get away with advertising and everything. I'm doing that a little bit right now. But I'm not stopping you from your gaming experience. And of course, this plane is often brought to you by, in part, well, Phyllis, of course, Pixelverse. But we're also advertising the Brew Barons, which is done by Lifetap Studios, which is available on Steam. If you want your running a bar as well as collecting ingredients in an airplane that squirts water for guns and for boosting, hey, it's definitely a game. And of course by me, Street Reaper, also known as Captain Street V Reaper. On this other plane. If you can't tell this is me by now, well, you probably don't know my name. That's fine. Probably close this back window here a little bit. I'm going to leave the front window open now. It's a warm enough weather situation. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after these messages, which is none, because I gave you your messages. So just I'll be right back. And if Rachel walks a little bit more towards the back of my plane around on the beach like she was doing up front, she can also be on camera. Maybe hold up a poster card or something. Either way, I won't be long. back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, people and creatures, everything in between. Alright. Be right back on off. Alright. I have currently landed at... Matter of fact, I'll give the official stamp of where I landed. I'm probably going to pick right back up, though, so I can get back underway and be interesting. Wow! Apparently we got a bunch of pictures already set up. Got a bunch of pictures of Brace for Link food. Yep. So I guess while we're doing that real quick, let me stamp this for Pill. There's my coordinates there of where I've sat down currently. And I guess people at home can see some of the pictures that have been taken. Which is going to bring up my browser, which is probably not great, but it's fine. I've managed so far. And that's Netflix telling me that something called K-pop Demon Hunters is a thing. Good for you. Good for you. Meanwhile, more importantly, more images. We do seem to have UI tags with something in here. There's some of the boats over which more boats clustered around. It's probably the same one again. Yep. There's one of the flying Nimbus over some boats. Some more boats here again. It looks like I might have avoided much of the camera again. That's what tends to happen regularly. So I've just started bringing my own. And there we go. So you'll be able to play that back later at around this timestamp. And what is this? That's some stuff with surplus I'm not going to bother with. Close their tab out. Okay. Oh, there's the sound of Pill. Rachel's in a PT boat. So is this where they're all going to just stay parked up at? Or should I get up? Actually, I'll probably fly around a little bit more regardless. This plane's going to need some mechanical work. But I can still get it to fly. On out, and I'll just ramp up the engine.
I think I might need to lay down. I'm feeling like crap. You guys take it easy.
Alright, see you later. Yeah, this kind of frame rate in work and flying around can do that. Yeah, I'm used to it. I've played games on the FX chips and Super Nintendo. I know what it's like to suffer through a frame rate. Then I went back to play Stunt Race FX again on the Nintendo Switch. As said, I know what it's like to suffer through a frame rate. Let's see. Most of the stuff's pretty much in and set. I guess they cleaned up all their boats already? Let me see. Oh, got me last pick. Good stuff. Alright, here's a boat here. She's got her sails tied up. Got more coming into this. Alright. We'll just go at a nice 45. It's slow enough that I won't have to use flaps to keep slow and still keep aloft, but it's a nice lower hum of the engine. Oh, I didn't put my Skywise camera on, so I would have been able to do all the more speed recording. Script error still saying it's very much there. I've never seen a script error stay on a PV plane this long. But that's partly why it's good to do stuff like this too. and why the Pixelverse planes work out so well. Because boy, do we push them through some stuff. Me and Ari tend to force them through some stuff pretty fast, pretty hard. Wow, that's a cluster of boats it is. A little bit more elevation there. There we go. Right over the tips of the tops of the masts. And we've got one boat here, and it looks like they're coming into more there. Alright, I was letting Catnap there know that they've earned their registration from cohort to Sky Pirate. Feel free to congratulate them. They're going to pop now after, they're going to pop to a relog because, yeah, I'm sure that's much heavier than they're used to on a regular bit. But yeah, all things considered, one slight mechanical failure, not enough to stop me. Yeah, went out pretty smooth, pretty good. Had some people in luxury yachts getting weird. Ponies do strange, fun things. But they're not malicious. It's not like they smashed anything up. They just do very noticeable things. The heck? What group chat is saying that? Oh, that's another car. Apparently they're talking about burning children in the car group. We'll just close that. Huh. Nearby strip there. Over for a rudder dolly turn here. Elevators, ailerons, rudders, all working. Yeah, a listener mechanic, I think, might have cracked under the pressure. So we'll go over that in maintenance. Check my communications, make sure everything's working there okay. That's fine. Yep, communications are still linked and good. Yeah, it's highly unusual. But whatever doesn't kill our hardware just shows us where we can make a thing to make it ready for even further on the future, where the Linden Lab gods of entities find new ways to challenge us. Yep. We're looking at the big long mooring process. try and lock myself into a circle pattern here somewhere. Like right about maybe here. There we go. That should do it. Can we get a nice steady look? She's not leaning over. Maybe have a little bit of an upward in here going on. As you can see, there's a big pile of things right up in there, which is ultimately the destination. So, I think we'll just cruise on over there, dare the danger again one more time. Maybe witness some of the bigness that's going on in the mooring process. All up in there. In fact, there's some further danger, shall we? Let's go into the actual area here. There's a lot of registered impacts of avatars. So far, it's looking good. There's the stage of history, Lagoon class sky carrier. Our basing of operations. Here's the big old roundabout pedestal that's at the heart of this. And it's okay if I go through this little three-way crossing because these planes are set for it. And I don't think it hinges on the listener script at all. So it should be just fine. But yeah, I do believe I've isolated. What mechanically went wrong on that? After I stop the engine on this plane, it may not start again when I stand up. This is fine. I'll put it right on the freeway. Let's find out, shall we? Ooh. And this rubbing that you're seeing here, that's because that area is full right now. Wish there was people on that little area there anymore. Could honk some horns at them. So we're going to go roundabout this way. So anyways, even though that the listener script seems to be the situation right now, the planes have an option to toggle as to which form of you want the forward and backward to do. I keep it on air brakes. As such, I have the air brakes available even without the listener script because connective inputs are often all the more reliable to a vehicle in Second Life, as well as almost any scripted object. If you're connected to it, you have a little bit of ability to do key inputs instead of listeners by like typed words, which is actually why I asked for air brakes to have that option. You're often all the more faster and responsive than if you rely on just gestures. But I have to admit, I've seen some situations where, at least on firearms lately, that gesture input, while it can be a little slower, they're not as bad as some things have been like in the days of like full straight up everybody blazing around a simulator combat. Matter of fact, we were testing ones from Echelon lately, and they have a secondary FAR that hinges on a gesture, and that response time was really good. Of course, Echelon weapons are very much known for having a long history in sim combat warfare. Let's see, we are currently about 1 hour and 11 minutes into this broadcast and flying. That's a lot for some. Can be a good chunk, but that's why I sat down for a moment, because I need to go take care of something real quick, but still backing up. Just think how rough it was back in the day when people had to sit in an airplane for hours. And they didn't exactly have a swirly can on board, if you know what I mean. Let's see, we hit a 22nd orbit at one point somewhere recently. It's fine. I'm totally fine with the 22nd orbit. Let's see, who's this down here? A little bit of a luxury motorboat here. Oh. Somebody's got some muscly glutes down there. Let's let them know we see them and witness their butt. Although we won't mention the butt exactly, but who knows? They might watch the stream or this recording, and then they'll know they got their camera time. Definitely looks like a good buff couple. And whatever this notice is over here that I can totally look at later. They're coming in slowly on just half sails or so. Less than. They are indeed slowly moving along as they make for mooring. Definitely some scripted processes going here and there as I feel the occasional slow roll of the aircraft. But that's to be expected. Probably things like particular sail angle changes, catching the wind, raising and lowering other sails for coming on in. Drivers repeating everything that the car sales are saying on their own routes. Okay. The old crossbones, which are blurry until they rev back in again for the second life. So that you of course my us here on side-by position. Meow. Big old yank on that stick. Leveled out. Oh, I don't have a confirmed control back on this time around. Oh, now it snapped back in. There it goes. Of course, that's not the fault of the vehicle. That's just SL sometimes. Yeah, it felt like an upload of packets that decided to briefly stop. That's why when some of the more average sailors, not as much the tall ship sailors, go on about how like, oh, this plane came here, look, it's Second Life. One, you can get false visuals, like your boats come up into the sky upside down and come right through us. And we don't yell at you about coming to invade our sky. Sometimes you may see a false visual read of us going down through your boats. And if it made no nudge, no impact, that's a false read. If it does make an impact in fiscal, well, also, let's be real, it's Second Life. We could have lost a pilot just like your boat loses you on a regular basis. But if everyone tries to over-regulate, saying, oh, everybody in the sky forever and always should always be over 100 meters high, you're just going to kill the fun of people wanting to be in Second Life. If you kill too many people from Second Life, you kill Second Life. It's the people here keeping it active, and even when they're not paying into it, but making it fun, and running little organizations like ours that keep people going, that do also have money. I'm not going to say names, but I definitely know some people who got some money around here. Yeah, that is how you keep Second Life alive. So respect your travelers, because travelers, airplanes, boats, cars, if not for them, it's a major piece of the commerce and industry within Second Life that helps keep the money flowing in, out and about, and keeping things cycled. It's also the one thing VR chat does not have, and that's the fact that you have created things, especially custom airplanes like ours, that make their way about through a map, a grid, a second life, if you will. VR chat, you kind of basically go into pre-designated virtual areas, kind of like Dreams were in Furcadia, and you hang about in there and don't expect to fly a vehicle or drive a vehicle or anything like that across their multitudes of locations, because they're not interconnected like you have on the grid here. Matter of fact, I don't see less and less games where there's so mass multiplayer that have all big connected areas, and it's very kind of far and few between. We do have Sea of Thieves, so that's one. I guess you could semi-count Battle Royale games, although I really don't. It's definitely a big map area, but or completely and utterly hostile, where you'll get shot and you try to shoot back, and they build a cacophony of a Minecraft nightmare with more geometry of a tower to hide themselves from you. Because that's Fortnite. And I'm largely retired from PvP. I still do it a little bit. Racing, I'll still do racing. Especially on kart games, but and Wreckfest. But otherwise, I like to be a co-op kind of guy. I like to feel like I'm being helpful and not entirely despised to the point that they want to find me in life and delete me, which you often kind of get in the very certain toxic bits of PvP these days. Like, you think the FGC fighting game community is bad? Oh. Call of Duty is still like Halo when in its cacophony of how people are acting. Or so often we say some angry shit. I said some angry shit on Helldivers last night. One dude was just utterly not listening. And it was because he couldn't hear me. Well, then he still couldn't hear me, and it doesn't matter. But he definitely lost an otherwise completely winnable objective. I even ran the package all the way to where it just needed to be plugged into the boxes to clear the area out. And now he was clearing out all these other ships and sit-downs and parking spots across the map. It was utterly not helpful. Let's see. Who wants to add on communications? Right, I keep hitting the inventory button, so that's going to help me find out. Bill's still on call. Cassie's still on call. And Rachel's still on call. Of course, me right there. Let us dare a little bit more fun danger. Horn action. The people standing by watching some of the remaining of the mooring of the boats, which are making slow progress into port. Give them a little honk, a little flyby there, whoever's sitting in the middle of the air some way, somehow. Again, second life. However you need to have your fun and observe the fun. Okay. More time to make sure that the planes and people have as much availability as possible for that boat coming into port. Oof. A heavier roll over there that time. I'll just let her turn around and level her out. Ooh. There we go. I'll just cruise right down out here. Yep. Looks like they're not even going to try and bring the tall ship into the same simulator. It is. It's heavy in there. Some of you watching at home saw just how heavy. I had like a complete rollover from a bodycraft roller. Stop rolling for a moment. This is what your pilots endure on a regular basis on a heavier cruise. But we learn and adapt to the point where it's just almost just expected. Let's see, is that the last of our boats? Is there more out here? Oh, okay. Well, let's backtrack a little bit, just a tad. A nice little water trail behind me here. So I kick up vapor from the blades. Always a neat, fun sight. Another thing I asked for with the plane design, Felix did, and was able to pull off. I come up with shenanigans, and Felix manages to figure it out for me, and the rest of us. Kind of like Reef Fire, which is normally wonderful if you really need to pop that power. You don't need to wait for sliding all the way up the throttle to 100 again, especially in some planes where throttle is a little less touchy. I'm used to touchy because, well, I just fly this stuff. Tsunami is indeed a little bit more of a combat, quick, fast response kind of an aircraft, especially in the mode that I tend to keep it in. That being the acrobatics mode. The Second Life doesn't have the greatest of analog controls, we'll say. I'm trying to set things up for analog controls too much, other than maybe throttles. It can be your buttocks. So we have to use what we got. Alright, Rachel, Pill, if your ears are actually at your ears, you know if any more boats are coming in, or is that the tall and short of it? All in now? Alright. We'll probably give one more flyover. Semi-dangerous flyover, but not super, super dangerous flyover. We are going to go low enough that whatever horn I blow as I pass over, they're definitely going to hit. Aim for the cluster. Cross on in. Yep, they all definitely heard that. Alright. And some kind of join and gift thing that somebody has. I guess that's a greeter. Just see if I can ignore on that for now. We are on the other side. Let's see. I don't think the landing gear is going to work with the test though. Yep, so we're going to be landing on water. That way I don't have to scrape up the body, and then she'll be pulled up for experimental maintenance. This is a released craft, but even on released craft, we're currently, well, not just currently, but almost always, looking what weird things we can do to them. That would be something that the Sky Pirate, and of course just as much as Sky Pirate consumer, is going to have to endure themselves. So they get a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of testing. Even ye old Typhoon gets a lot of fly time still these days. And the Tsunami here is no different. I call this one Glass Joe because I've done so much things to it. She's ladled up in all kinds of ways. Partly also I keep flying her. Gives our friends at LifeTap Studios a little bit of exposure too for one of the few kind of games that are out there with multi-facets to it. Fly a plane, run a bar, deliver beverages to other bars that are friendly with you, fight off land pirates, sea pirates, sky pirates. You know, they're not as nice as us. I'm just going to come right on in. And approach is looking good. A little bit more power, just a tad. And a nice little touchdown. Alright. And radar. Some of the other ports around here. In case you're wondering what that is, boats tend to race by these things when they do their little boat race course thingies. And we're just gonna pull on up the port here, see what happens. Oh yeah, there's some of the sales offerings. And they got their Facebook here. Okay. Maybe we'll slow our progression to a little bit of a crawl here. We'll pull right on in and right on up to where people are hanging out here and see the thing that finally decided to come up there. Well, you won't see that browser, that's fine. But with the power of precision, control, even when incurring some damage that Limited Labs would do to us regularly. keeping an eye on Union Fleet like things there for us there. Dressed up as a Union Fleet. Look at that control, except that I'm slightly nudged her hand because you're standing there in front of me. She's fine. Might nudge it just a little bit more. That'll work. And then we can't seem to turn her off, so let's see if standing up will do it. By the default, those engines tend to cut off when you lift up from your seat. And it is not. Dramatic entry with a parachute.
Ahoy, mateys!
Alright. Well, I could cover a whole bunch of more by walking around and whatnot, but I might do that another later time. And we're just going to say the invisible pirate ninjas are going to pick this plane up, and we're going to examine what it's doing another time, probably after the festival. But I already have an idea of what probably happened. The listeners decided to stop and was basically telling me a little script thing over here. Which is honestly the first time, like I said before, the first time I've ever seen a PV plane drop that. So, we've caught yet another thing that Linden Labs is probably, you know, causing the strain of their stuff. And it is what it is. Looks like a script runtime error. And it says, relay. Vehicle seat relay. 2 engine. So yeah, like I said, that's probably part of the listener, because listeners were not responding from it. But all up, down, left, right, rudders, anything that didn't need to hinge on a, you know, listener for a letter or whatnot in local chat, even the air brakes, we're all still working, very much still flyable. Just anything not flowing through your inputs directly and through your connection is just not what happened. So, that being said, I will be signing off. And, I guess before I go, for the way that more people remember me, that I fly over a lot of the time, if I can edit. Just pop my oxygen mask on. You know, as soon as it wants to do it. Any of these will work because if you use same head. But anyways, thank you for watching, and of course, let the festival begin. And I will, of course, see you there. Of course, it would probably help if this little window thing was out of the way. So, indeed, see you there. See you next time.